So leads, what are leads? If you're new to the business, you have to understand that leads are the lifeblood of your business. Leads, in other words, are people who are interested marginally in what it is that you're selling. There can be various levels of interest in a lead, but the premise is that in order to sell insurance, in this case, final expense, you need people to sell it to, preferably people that actually are interested on some level in life insurance or final expense. What a lead is not is a sale, a guaranteed sale. It's not somebody that is waiting necessarily. Sometimes you get lucky, but it's not somebody waiting for you to call to hand their money over to you. You see, what sometimes agents get confused by is that because it's a lead, it should buy. But the truth is, a lead is just the first iota of interest. It's the job of the agent, you, to build rapport, trust, and a case to that particular person on why they need to buy today. All right. So while it's important to have good quality leads, and you'll get all the information on what's working, what's not, and where to go for good quality leads, it's equally, if not more important, to develop your skills that you've learned earlier with the scripting to get the most out of those leads that you can get. Okay. So don't blame the leads. In a lot of cases, it's you that sucks. And I mean that with all love and respect. You need to work on your skill set. You need to be open-minded, humble, have some humility, and be coachable. We see the metrics, we see the numbers, and I'll be frank with you. There are agents, there is not a plurality, but there's a good percentage of agents that don't follow the script and they don't make sales. We tell them to follow the scripts. We tell them what to do. They don't do it. So don't be so quick to blame leads. Be responsible for yourself first. Think about what you can do better. And understand, too, it takes time to develop yourself as an agent. It doesn't happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. Okay. So give yourself some grace. It takes time to get good at anything in life, especially something that's worth getting good at. But besides that point, leads are really important. And you need to understand what the lead options are, which ones you should select and which ones you should stay away from. So, and we're going to talk mostly about telesales, but we'll also mix in some face-to-face because a few of you still do it. Okay. So what is the best source of leads that are out there? And this is going to go largely based off of my personal experience and then also what I've heard others I respect in the business do. So for us at the Dig Agency, what we have really had the most success with is leads generated on Facebook. Now, why is that? Or what is it, first of all? So leads generated on Facebook is based off of a paid placed ad using some form of creative advertisement with usually a video, sometimes a static image, just a still image, some sort of descriptive text that's persuasive with a call to action, meaning a command to click the button to learn more or to request information. Typically, these are what's called Facebook form ads. They're done within Facebook. The client fills out the information. The consent is at the end of the form. And then that information gets automatically plugged into our CRM and enters our dialing and call sequence. Okay. So why do we like Facebook leads? First of all, they're simple to get. And the platform itself is very good in facilitating how to build good ads. As a pro tip, if you're doing your own ads, you can put in Facebook ad library into Google and then describe what it is that you're selling in different keywords, and you can get some sample ads and get some good information on what your competitors are using, what kind of creative hooks they use, et cetera, to get yourself off starting in the right direction about like the style of ads that you do. So there's the ability to create ads pretty quickly. If you don't want to do them yourself, you can. That's a downside of it. It does take some time to learn, and it is a time drain to run the thing. You can hire people to do it for you if you don't want to join a free lead agency like ours, where we just do it all for you. But the lead quality is consistent. There's a ton of older people on Facebook. The truth of the matter is, no young people use Facebook. They all use Snapchat and TikTok. Ironically, it's the boomers that are on Facebook. And so your market for final expense, people over 50, are all on Facebook. Ouch. Sorry. It's true. Go where the market is, as they say. And yeah, it's the perfect platform. It's also scalable. At our peak lead generation ability, we've generated as many as 3,000 to 4,000 leads a week with room to grow. So, and there's hundreds of agents probably conceivably in the final expense market that are marketing to the same list of people. So my point is that it's a viable place to market. It has been. It's pretty predictable. And the type of prospects that you want are absolutely going to be there. Okay. There has been some changes with what Facebook has done. They have changed to anything about insurance, specifically life insurance, has been moved to a special ads category designation. And so we can't target based off of, I believe, you guys can correct me, some of you may know a little more than I do, gender. You can't do zip codes. What else is there? You have to do the whole state. Oh, you can't do age. That's the big thing. But the thing is with Facebook's algorithm, if you're good at designing the ad itself, Facebook's pretty good at placing that ad in front of people who that resonates with. And this is true for all social media. They want ads that actually speak to the people, that feel more like content and value added information than they are just an abject spam. They don't want that on their platform. So the algorithm wants to place a good quality ad that's fun to watch or interesting or compelling. And they track all the metrics of these ads to put that in front of the right people. So my point is that while it's a little bit more difficult since we can't assign like an age range to the ads, it's not out of the possibility to do it and to make it happen. So for me, Facebook, if I'm doing my own ads as an agent, that's where I'm going to go for the majority of my work. It's just where our prospects are at. Okay. Again, any questions on any of these platforms, et cetera, let me know. The next option is just social platforms in general. Our experience is minor since Facebook has worked so well. Oh, by the way, let me step back. With Facebook, you can also incorporate appointment setting so people can schedule appointments on your calendar. What we do at the Dig Agency is we give them the option to dial in and to actually, excuse me, so to give them the option to dial in and talk to us live. So there's a live transfer that you can build out of it. That's a little harder to do as an individual agent, easier as a call center because you've got multiple agents taking calls all day. So, but the option exists to do these things. It's great. And again, it's why we do most of our lead gen on Facebook for that reason. The only other platform that we're getting success with, but albeit in a minor way because we just don't have a bunch of money behind it yet, we're working on that, is TikTok. TikTok has a lot of people who are not young on the platform. I don't know its current state. I don't think TikTok is going away. There's a lot of fear of it was shutting down. I don't think that's going to happen. It could, and if it does, plenty of other options out there. But TikTok's a pretty popular platform. I remember as a younger person when Facebook started, it was when I was in college in 2003. The old people, my parents, didn't get on until, like the 2000 teens. So there was a laggard effect that typically with social platforms, it's the initial users are younger. And then if there's a flywheel effect where there's just a lot of people and it grows and grows and grows and becomes its own thing, the older people eventually catch on and then start using it. So I think that to some extent has happened in TikTok. You have the only way to communicate with your grandkids is on these social media platforms. And that's what happened with Facebook with the boomers. And I think you're seeing that kind of happen now as they migrate or have migrated to TikTok. So I think there's a place for our business model on TikTok and generating final expense leads. It's a video-based platform. You can create engaging content on there. Its algorithm is really good in putting in front of your clients the kind of content that will attract people. So definitely consider TikTok. I wouldn't say I would say the safe bet is always going to be Facebook, but it's worth, depending on how much marketing you do, to try out TikTok. Okay. What about third-party vendors? So what if you don't want to do your own marketing on Facebook, like do it yourself or hire it out? Who are good third-party vendors to deal with? Let me tell you who is and who isn't good. Because some of our marketing strategy at the big agency is based around, to some extent, kind of how we envision growing. And I'm only sharing this with you because I think it's useful to hear. I'm not trying to promote myself necessarily, but I think it's useful to hear kind of how a bigger company that's spending a lot of money on leads is thinking and where kind of things are going. So one of the things we've realized is lead diversification is really important. One is the loneliest number in business. If you only have one of anything, there's pros to that, but there's also cons, because that one thing goes away, you're in trouble. So what we've learned is that we can't just rely upon Facebook alone. Facebook changes its algorithms, it may change its requirements, and that can have some negative impacts on lead gen. So we diversify to a minor extent with third-party lead vendors that they may be on Facebook, they may be on other platforms, but they do things differently, right? So if one goes out, we have some kind of other, anecdotally fishing poles in the fishing pond, right? So there's always some other things going on. So what have we used that I like? So I like ttcleads.com. So if you're purchasing leads, you can go buy leads per lead with them. They do have a lead management program. I don't know how it works. That's how we work with them. So we pay them money and they generate leads for us at cost, basically. We're kind of early on in testing them out and using them. So I can't tell you if it's amazing or it's bad. It looks like it's good. It takes a while to realize the full sales out of a batch of leads. For us, it probably takes, most of our sales are done in the first month. And then there's a tail where sales will be made over the next 2, 3, or 4 months. Okay. So you have to let the thing ride for a period of time to kind of generate an idea of what the cost per sale on average is. What else? We've tried out Kaboom leads with Cody Askins. Those are okay. We're going to try them again here soon. So kind of something we're testing out. We're also testing out, there's a company called RGI. They used to do, and they still do, direct mail leads for face-to-face agents, but they do some digital leads. I think they generate them off of different platforms like Google, et cetera. We'll see how those go. Also, what works really well, we're testing it, but it's worked for years for the people at Digital BGA, which have been in Telesales since like 2016 or 17 on the final expense side, is TV leads. Something you probably can't do as an individual agent. You probably have to join a call center or a virtual model like what we do. They generate inbound leads. They're higher priced, but they tend to be higher intent because they call you off of an ad that talks strictly about burial insurance. So those have staying power. They're proven to work, something we're going to definitely test out. Now, in short, if you're an independent agent buying your own leads, out of this whole list I've talked about, Facebook really is the only thing that makes sense, whether you buy leads individually or you generate them yourselves. But these other platforms are showing some kind of promise, something worth looking into. Yeah, so Robco, if you want to do your own lead, if you want to do a lead management program, we have just decided to take it internally only to agents who start in our free lead program, then migrate to broker if that's what they want to do. We tested out offering it like as a service to everybody, like literally using our company's marketing department to create ads. And what we found is that the agents it's very frustrating. It takes, to do marketing right, it takes time. You're not going to get leads on a self-generation or lead management program immediately. If you want leads immediately, buy leads from a third-party vendor. But if you're going to hire somebody to manage your account, it takes a month or two before the leads dial in. And you're going to have to be committed that long. And so what will happen is that agents, they come in and you tell them the expectation is don't expect any lead flow at any significant rate for a month. It's just how it is. Facebook learns the leads, takes time. It may not learn it may learn the campaign, may be a bad campaign. You have to kind of play with it. But agents would pull the plug 3 or 4 weeks in. It's part of the reason why I just prefer agents to just let us do your leads for you in the free lead program so you can just sell. Because it's just, we all have money issues. A lot of agents do. I know I did when I first started, so I understand. But the right way is to do it and not expect anything for a month or two, to dial in the lead campaign so you get a good price and good intent. But Oscar is somebody who I would recommend. Oscar Gonzalez, Scale My Social. I've worked with him off and on through the years. Very good person. Does a good job at it. Live transfers. The only live transfers we currently use originate from Facebook ads, so they call in off of the ads. We have at times tested out some callers to call our older leads and to do live transfers. There was some success there. It's not necessarily bad. It's expensive, but we kind of played with that. We may revisit that. Well, I don't think we're currently doing that now. Okay, so let me tell you what we are avoiding. And I'm going to go into a little story mode here. Some of you may have saw the TCPA violation video I did a couple weeks ago. So the biggest problem right now in our business in doing telesales is making sure you're compliant. It's really important that any leads that you use, that you have a consent up front in order to work the leads, all right? And so what you want to be very careful of is working a lead that is generated in a non-compliant way, because there are numerous professional aggressive litigants, people who sue for a living, that will take agents to court or ask you to settle for some unfounded, silly amount of money for a violation that you supposedly did. So case in point, right now, there's an agent I know. He doesn't work with me. He's not an employee, not an independent contractor. He, as far as I understand, he purchased leads and from one of these overseas call centers, and he got a live transfer, and it turned out to be this guy that like has taken big name companies to court. And so he's suing or demanding, sending a demand letter to an insurance company. He sent the demand letter to the agent. I'm sure, I don't know exactly for sure. And I got a demand letter because the agent is in my upline, but this guy runs his own agency. I've never employed him, never been an independent contractor with me, never paid him a dime, right? But he's saying I'm liable and I owe $15,000 to make it to go away, right? Which is, it's all complete bullshit. In fact, what happened was this agent, as far as I can tell, he's the one who purchased it. He's the one who did all this stuff. And so the liability is with him, not with me. And I say all this to you, not to share my story too much, but more importantly, to forewarn you. If you take one thing out of this, guys, it's that leads and the quality of the leads really matter. And quality is not just if they're interested or not, but it's also, did you generate the leads compliantly? Okay. And what you don't want to do is ever work with anybody that is generating leads from a call center overseas. Okay. That's what this agent did. As far as I can tell, he purchased from a call center, either in India or Pakistan, and they were sold as pre-sold final expense leads. Okay. Pre-sold final expense leads, right? Like they're sold before the agent talks to them. I'm like, give me a break, man. And the problem with these people is that there's no, what's the word? There's no motivation for the call center to compliantly call leads or to avoid calling people on the DNC, the do not call list, right? They can't be taken to court. They're in India or Pakistan. We're not going to fly over there and arrest them and throw them in a plane and take them here, right? It's not going to happen. So what happens is that these claims that come about from these TCPA litigants is they go after the agent, they go after the upline, they go after the carrier, not the person responsible for generating them. And they get away scot-clean, and they know they're ripping you off too, but you hold the bag. And I posted this. I had a message from one guy's like, I've been, he owes 9 or 10 grand to a guy. He eventually settled. It's just an onslaught of just this nonsense left and right. So the moral of the story is avoid anybody from Pakistan or India. Is really what it is. Do not do, I would just not even do live transfers. You are going to be in a position where eventually you call on a professional litigant and it initiates some sort of case. And I do wonder at some level, if these litigants aren't in bed with these bullshit call centers. Like they pay them a little under the money or under the table for the deal. I don't know. But regardless, please be careful out there. Be compliant, be above board, stay away from live transfers is what I would absolutely tell everybody to do. Okay. If you're selling face-to-face, really the only thing that works nowadays is direct mail. You can do some Facebook leads, but again, these new special ad categories, you have to take at least a 50-mile radius, and that can still work. That can be fine, but direct mail is just king for the face-to-face agent. There's really no other option besides that. The challenge with face-to-face direct mail is it's very expensive. You're looking at probably in good markets, 50 to 60 bucks a lead. Some of the leads are not very specific, so they're a little misleading. And it can be very expensive purchasing leads. Plus, you got to wait 4 or 5 weeks for leads to come back. But I mean, that's just the cost of doing business. It's just how it is. But they can be very good. There just really isn't that much else that works for the direct mail or works other than direct mail for face-to-face. Any questions about leads, best platforms, how things are working? Anything I can answer about leads? Any specific lead vendors you want some feedback on? Have you tried anything on YouTube? Yeah, I don't think we got it right, though. One of the things we're doing right now is bringing on some experienced YouTube marketers. Man, YouTube is great for me on recruiting. And I know there's business on the sales side because we do some, and I'm about to show you my YouTube channel for consumer policy sales. And I know they're out there for that too, but I've never really been able to crack the nut on YouTube. We haven't really tried, and we haven't had the right people in place to do it effectively. But I think it works. It's just going to take some time figuring it out because there's a lot of our clients on YouTube as well. So yeah, and video is just such an engaging and incredible platform for any kind of marketing. And by the way, that's how most of our ads run. There is some static ads, but most of them are video based, and they work exceptionally well. You can just convey the emotion and desire and need for life insurance and final expense much easier that way. Razor Ridge. I've heard of them, but I don't know anything specific about them. When a lead is very angry and said, didn't sign up for this, is this a DNC? So I would always, Brian, err on the side of caution. If you're not sure, just do not call it. That's what I would say. Anytime, of course, they say, hey, take me off your list, put a do not call. That's what I would say. We teach our agents, again, it's a call center environment. It's a little bit different. But if they just say, I'm not interested, and they hang up, we just say, not interested. We put them in a group to call them back at a future date. Because, man, I'm telling you guys, a lot of these people that say they're not interested today are interested tomorrow. I remember talking to a dude that I saw, he was flat out not interested in buying from me. I went a year later because he sent another card, and he had bought from somebody 6 months prior. I was like, this dude wasn't even interested. And I'm like, I'm a good salesperson. I sell everybody that should be interested. And it's like, not really, So sometimes it's the wrong person making the sale, or it's a bad day. So we don't chuck them unless they say, don't ever call me again or take me off your list or something. Yeah, Mark, Scale My Social, they're good. Yeah. Oscar Gonzalez, very good. Highly recommended if you want like a lead management program. Kaboom, would you prefer appointment setting or call the prospect? Both. Do both, Eric. So I have seen in the past agents buying their own leads. What they'll set up ultimately is a system that facilitates preset appointments only. So the idea is if I get an appointment on the hour, I do 50 appointments a week. It's the road to riches. The problem is and this is why we don't do preset appointments. The show rate on presets is like 20 to 30% on average. So if you book 50, and it's probably going to take 150 plus to do that. then you might sit with 15 if you're lucky. And if you're a good agent, you'll close half. And what I think you'll find happen is that out of the half that show, or I should say, out of the 50, you might have 30% that show, you close half. It's not enough money to justify the expense. So, and you're going to have so much downtime and nothing going on. Why not call when you're not on the phone with the prospect? That's with the lead that preset the appointment. That's kind of what I think. Because if you can pick up an extra couple of sales, it'll start to justify the expense. So that's why we switched to the live transfer, is because I would rather talk to somebody who's interested right now that just filled out the form. Because the only way they can do a live transfer to us is if they click the link to call in the form they just filled out. I want to talk to them now. They're at their peak level of interest. Anytime you fill out a form, you're the most interested, and it just tapers to whatever extent after. So preset appointment, it's not bad. It's better than no appointment. But considering kind of the pitfalls to it, I just we can do it because we have a lot of people who can take the call. So you may not be able to do it, but if you're going to do presets, mix in the outbound calls for sure. Do a lot of these lead generating vendors sell a single lead to multiple buyers? Yes. So I won't name the company, but it starts with the second is, and the last is, I'll let you figure out what it is. They would sell leads that they called exclusive, that ultimately were data. It's like names in the phone book, okay? Which means they're like it's just their names. And they would sell them for like 10 or 11 bucks a piece, but they would get the leads for like 25 to 50 cents each. And they would promote these to the agents like these are the best things since sliced bread, and they were incentivized to, because they were making, for every 50 cents they invested, they were making $10.50 in profit. Like so they were motivated to sell it not just once but multiple times, and that's how they made a huge killing, is at the expense of the agent selling these crappy leads. They made a fortune. And I think they've since then cut it down, since some of the language on consent was changing. You couldn't resell a lead. That was the main thing. So, but a lot of agents in my mind were lied to and divested a lot of their money, to put it nicely. So yeah, we don't do now. We share leads, like for us, we generate the leads, or we generate an exclusive lead. And yeah, there's a case to be made. Like if I'm buying the leads and you're getting them for free, and one person pitches it, I'm telling you, man, somebody else may have a great opportunity to pitch them. Where I find the problem is, and then possibly close them. Where I find the problem is when you're presented something as being exclusive and it's just you that's ever going to get this lead, but then it's secretly sold multiple times to other people. That's fraudulent, in my opinion. But yeah, it's not necessarily bad that a lead is shared. But the price has to reflect the fact that they are shared. Like if these leads were for this company, if they were $2 a lead, not 11, okay, make that work. Buy 500 of them and pound out for 5 sales. That's not bad, But it's the pricing and how that they're obviously sold is the issue. Yeah, Advanced Agent Marketing. We used to work with them as an IMO, partner with them. They've since moved on to Lasting Mark, but I think they don't even recruit anymore. I think they're just doing sales systems. They've always done a good job. I've never done business with them directly in a lead generation standpoint, but I've had agents do, and they do fine. Hey Sam, what is considered a good closing rate on lead buying? Yeah, it's impossible to answer. I mean, I'm not trying to dodge the question, but here's what the variables will be based off of. Largely your skill. That's most of it. The second thing is the lead type. Okay. And then probably equivalent to the lead type is what dialing solution are you using? How are you contacting these people? We switched from Kixi to Convoso, and we had a 300% improvement in connection rates. Like the people who we got on the phone, 300%. That's incredible. No change in skill set or script or leads, just in the phone technology to get people to pick up. So long story short, there's a lot of variables there. to improve on. The key thing that you need to do is ask questions about the tech behind how you're dialing. What are they providing you? Does it scrub the numbers? What did the agent say? What kind of lead system do they use? Get some feedback from the agents, and then make sure you're joining an agency that actually will train you to death, like will train you to be good, and has a script that's proven to work. Like, but you notice how I've said a couple of times, ask the agents, ask the agents, ask the agents. Like, don't accept an IMO's presentation, because remember, I'm putting on the best foot forward and presenting the dig agency to you, right? And typically the people who own companies are good salespeople, right? What you want to do is take what they say, but also take what their agents say, whether that's in like a case study. Like, that's why I have a ton of case studies, and why there's tons of testimonials written and in video format, because I'd like my people to speak for me. I don't want to say I'm the greatest. Like, I want my people to say we're the greatest. Like, that's 1,000 times more impactful. Yeah. So that really is what matters. And anytime you get pushback on an agency that doesn't facilitate that process to prove its claims, you should always be questioning things. But do you have to let the prospect know that the call is being recorded? If that is the case, yes, you should. I think it's a smart idea. At what point does a new lead that never answered, and they don't care that it's recorded, it's so typical, you should always say something like, hey, this is David DeFord on calling on a recorded line. I'm calling back about the information requested. Like, that's all you need to say. At what point does a new lead that never answered get put into an aged lead list for you? Oh, okay. Well, I think it's easier. Let me say it this way, Grant. We take leads out after a certain point, after a certain number of calls. I don't know what it is. Let's say it's 200 calls. Like, if we've called this person 200 times and they've never picked up the phone, what's the chances of them picking up the 201st time, the 300th, or the 400th time? Statistically, we've done the numbers, like whatever that break point is, it's just like, why waste our agent's time? So we cycle that lead out. But what you'll see if you graph all of the sales and then so the number of sales versus the amount of time or calls that it took to take it, it's like most of the sales occur here, and then it's just a graph downward, right? And so what you want to figure out is like, okay, at what point for the agency is it better to give up on calling? You might get a sale, but like, do you really want to spend all that time and waste the agent's time? What point do you just, can the leads and then buy more leads to facilitate where most of the sales occur, right? You don't want to end it too early. And this is relevant to all of y'all, even if you don't, even if you buy your own leads, because you don't just want to work the fresh leads. To get the most of the money out of the leads, you want to call those leads back that maybe weren't available. It's easy to do in telesales. You buy your number of fresh leads every week, but then you also work some age leads. Like, you work them in with your fresh leads. And at some point, though, you got to cut it off, because it's just a waste of time. But that's how we do it, in order to extract the money out of the leads that are there. Okay, Daniel, I'm curious if you know of any data providers that can supply search intent leads that are TCPA compliant. Okay, looking for a large quantities of TCPA compliant data that a VA can tell. I don't know if you can ever. This is my problem with it. I know what you're wanting, but I don't think you can ever know if they're going to be compliant. And you are going to be the one that's going to be the target for litigation. If you're not actually controlling the call center data and you're in control of the callers, then you're at risk of getting sued big time. I have a friend in the business who does very well in the telesales space. And he basically tested this concept with a couple of different call centers with data that would have otherwise never been originated. And he found that they ended up sharing it with each other. So there's a lot of this incestuous nature from a business standpoint going on with these call centers overseas. A lot of these people are like relatives, and they kind of do business with each other at the demise of you. I don't trust any of them, is what it comes down to. I have no reason to trust them. They're all scammers as far as I'm concerned. The only solution would be to find somebody in the States or to hire and control the platforms so that those guys can't call them. Or you could possibly do it overseas, but you have to control the data input. You have to control the platform. Never let the call center that you're employing control your data. That's where you lose. But I don't know. I'm trying to think where to go for the leads themselves. I don't have a vendor. I've just purposely stayed away from it because it's too risky. Age leads using AI calling agency to book agent appointments. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean that's probably what they're doing. Mark, is they're taking these data leads that Daniel's talking about and then running an AI to preset appointments. It might work. Are your agents protected from TCPA violation allegations if you use your leads? So if we weren't, when we're compliant, we're 100% compliant. But if an agent calls and it wasn't compliant, we're liable because we generated the lead. We generated the lead. They're going to mention they didn't buy the lead. We did. Like it is completely obvious we're liable. So the agent's not going to be, because they're just working the leads. It's kind of how I look at it. Now, the question becomes if they go out and sell something and they use a lead that's not compliant and we don't have control over it, that's where things would arguably change. But if they're using our leads, our systems, our setup, I mean, come on, like we're dead to rights as far as I'm concerned. But we're compliant, 100%. Brian, why do you only market or develop leads in 14 states and not all states? Yeah, it's a strategic issue based off of the ability to get agents enough states. It's very expensive, in other words, for having agents work a bunch of states. We're going to roll out a different state model to allow us to market to more states. It's actually something we're working on, because the more states you market to, guys, the lower your lead cost arguably will be. All right. And so we're going to test something out using even more states than 14, but not having the agents have to purchase as many leads or purchase many state non-resident licenses, so we can help keep your cost controlled. So again, this is like an idea. We're going to implement it soon. We'll see how it goes, because we definitely like the idea of scaling leads really high, but paying less money per lead because we're working so many states. What about using AI voice to dial leads? What data source would you use? Just Facebook? I mean, you could use anything you want to. It just depends. And you would have to cultivate the AI in the correct manner to work the lead, right? You might work a data lead differently than a Facebook lead. The way that I would, first of all, you have to get consent that an AI robot can call. That's easy to do. The second thing is you would just have to train and teach it how to do the transfers in the correct way, if that's what you're looking to do. Mark says multiple carriers and products. Insurance toolkit is handling stats level differences. No one agent can know more than a few products. Well, yeah. That's kind of how we do it. That's why we do 3. And it's handling state level differences. Yeah. There's not a lot of state level differences for final expense. It's a homogenous product in most states. But having to know like 10 carriers is kind of burdensome, to say the least. Okay, real quick here. I want to talk about some free lead options here as we wrap this up. Good questions, by the way, guys. Thank you very much. Let's hit on some things. I'm going to share my screen here to get the first order of business. So you may be wondering, well, how can I get leads for free? So I'm going to share with you what's working with me. You guys can absolutely do this or duplicate this or do something in a similar form. And yeah, so let me show you what I'm talking about. So I've had this channel, probably for close to 10 years now. I don't really do much with it anymore because I feel like there's a ceiling on it, but I still think conceptually it's something that could work, and maybe I'm missing something, and it could absolutely work. And so it's really just a YouTube-based strategy to develop leads online because of helpful content. Think about how you guys found me, most likely on YouTube, or some of my helpful content that I post online. And you're sold on, I hope, on my knowledge base and helping you and providing value. right? Like that is a fundamental strategy you can use in anything in life that you sell. If you give real value in a real measurable way without anything and without expecting anything in return, you're going to get people who just like you and want to buy from you. Okay. So conceptually, that's what I do on the Big Agency YouTube channel. And it's also what I do on the Fixed Income Help channel. So here we have content, just to hit on, where we talk about things that are related to the marketplace that people are interested in. So for example, AARP life insurance, Primerica, Colonial Penn. You can see these on the screens. These are products that our clients witness and see and go online to do research about. And as they do this research and find out more about how it works, there is an offer here to call my office, which gets piped into my my call center, my virtual call center, and it distributed to the agents. And they get to call in to buy a policy in many cases. The leads are really good because they're organic. They're sold on me personally. And they just turn into a really good lead opportunity. We probably get 25 to 30 a month from this channel, but the ones that come through are really good. Okay. I could probably make 5 to 10,000 a month in commissions off of this, just roughly off of the leads that come in through here, just as an example. And look, guys, you could come in, make your own channel, do some research on how YouTube works and how to make compelling content and come up with your own angles. And some, as you see, some of the stuff works, like some of it doesn't, like 14 views. This one has 705. Kind of have to play with this. But my point is there is an opportunity here if you like the idea of helping people out for free. And it's not just on the YouTube platform. I'm a YouTuber. I like YouTube. I've watched and consumed YouTube content, so I understand it, so I do it. You can also do the same concept on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, any social media platform, okay? As long as you focus on giving people really good, compelling information, that's the big one. The other thing, especially with the short strategies using shorts, what you want to do there, nobody has any more attention span. You know, I've seen my wife, it's funny watching her on Instagram, and some of you guys can concur. It's like this. I mean, you don't even get a second or two to look at what it is. And you make that, that's what you do. You make that decision. I do it too now, you know, when I'm on YouTube shorts, it's like you watch it, not interested, watch it, not interested. So you have to hook them in quickly. A good person to watch to learn how to hook fast is Mr. Beast. If you don't know who it is, put it in the YouTube. If you're younger, you know who he is. Very popular YouTuber. His entertainment-based content, he goes right into the entertainment when you click on the video. So you have to hook people, that's what we mean, pretty quickly and get their attention, okay? And you can build helpful content, and it works really well generating leads. And all of this, guys, again, conceptually, you can put this on any type of platform. The last thing I'll mention is if you're willing to sell face-to-face, I have a free program. Most of you probably are already on here, but I will bring it to your attention because it just works so well. Let me share my screen. It's in the Insurance Sales Success Forum. If you're not on here, let me know. I can get you a link here. It's free. Go to the classroom and then scroll down to the Seminar Marketing for Final Expense. This is a strategy to generate leads for free going into senior living facilities, not convalescent care dementia units, but like independent living facilities for low-income seniors, and doing a 10-minute talk. It's not even a seminar, it's like 10 minutes, and then pitching to people that want more information. The benefit to these strategies is that nobody does it, especially nowadays, nobody sells face-to-face anymore, so there's that component. The other side of it is that there's a celebrity effect where if you get up in front of a bunch of people and talk game and they like you, like by the time you talk to them, they're sold on you personally, right? Because you got up in front of everybody and came off as the expert. And so this entire system, it's completely for free. It's nothing to buy. You can go through this and it'll teach you how to do every little aspect that makes it work. I did like 80 of these and probably did 150 plus sales conservatively, just from seminars. So over the course of a year. So it's definitely something that works. So long story short, you got to have leads, got to have the right kind of leads. You got to stay compliant with leads, and leads are the lifeblood of your business.